I know, it did sound like, oh shit, my bad.
God, rude.
Good morning, everyone. So I want to tell you a little bit about myself today. Kind of give you a little look-see into my life as it is already. And so I grew up very Catholic. As many of you don't know, I'm very Catholic, and I grew up with certain ideals that most of you have heard already. And it's kind of scary to think about these things, but it is part of my religion, so I have to kind of emphasize some of these thoughts. And one of the thoughts that I've usually feared in my life is the apocalypse. The apocalypse because we are certainly afraid of dying. I mean, honestly, our purpose in life is to survive, right? So nobody wants to die. The moment we feel threatened, our life to be threatened, we feel, you know what? I'm so scared right now. I don't want to be here. I don't want to experience death. I don't want to know what it's like to be dead. I mean, who wants that, right? Honestly, I don't think even the mortuary people looking at the dead bodies want to be there. So, but in this quote, Alan says, "I'm not afraid to die. I just don't want to be there when it happens." And I remember last year in 2012, everything would be about Armageddon, the apocalypse. Everything would be like, you know what? I don't want to die. What about this huge meteor crushing Paris, crushing London, crushing the United States, all the different countries? What am I going to do if I'm just one of the survivors? I don't want to be there. I don't want to be seeing people suffering, seeing people dying, people just crying because of their loved ones being dead. But the thing is, I wasn't afraid of dying. I wasn't afraid of dying because I had faith, because I believed in God, because I believed that after I died, I believed in resurrection. And I would actually have loved to be in that position to experience death because I would have appreciated life better. Because living right now, I feel like I don't appreciate life as it is. I feel like I take for granted every breath that I take, everybody that I meet, everything that I have in my life. Another example would be, I almost died when I was 3 years old. I thought I was a swimmer. Of course, like all little kids, would be like, oh my God, I can do so many things. I could be an astronaut, I could be a princess. Well, I thought I was an Olympic swimmer. And so I was next to the pool, and my dad was busy talking to my uncle. And so I jumped right off of the pool, and I was like, Dad, look at me, I can swim. Whoa, I'm floating. But when I didn't realize that I was slowly sinking into the bottom of the pool. My breath was constantly just breathing and breathing, and I felt my heartbeat just kind of getting slower and slower. And I couldn't breathe anymore. And to be honest, I look it back and I close my eyes and I see the waves just kind of like going above my head, and then I see my dad turning at me and diving in and going after me. And the next thing I knew, I was awake on my mom's bed trying to get those last breaths. But even then, I was not afraid. I was not afraid because for that moment, again, I felt like I was truly alive. I felt like, you know what, even if I was 3 years old, I knew what it was to appreciate life. That's why I wasn't afraid to die. Another experience is I felt that feeling, the same feeling recently when I went to my trip to Six Flags for the first time. I am not a roller coaster person. I can't even do scary movies. I mean, that's how bad it is because I start hyperventilating. So I remember going on Goliath and I was like, oh yeah, you know, I'm boss. I'm boss. Why am I boss? Because this little petite girl, you know, who's barely like 5'5", can go on this huge monstrous ride. And I was at the top of that hill, and I was looking at everything around me. And if you've ever been to Six Flags, everything is deserted. So you feel like you're on top of the world, right? And so from there on, I didn't want to be there. I really didn't. And I was looking at my friend beside me, and I was like, you know what? I don't even know why I'm doing this. And then she's like, you know what? YOLO, we're doing this. We're at the top of the mountain. Let's do this.
No.
And I was coming down, and I was just closing my eyes, feeling my heartbeat, feeling all of the energy and all of the breath kind of like take form and flow through all my body. And then I realized, you know what? This isn't as bad as it is. I felt alive. I felt like I could just go to the moon, to be honest. I feel like I can do anything at that moment because I wasn't afraid to die. I got over the fear of death at that very moment. And so Alan, I think, by his quote in saying, I'm not afraid to die, I just don't want to be there when it happens, I think he's wrong. Why? Because I wouldn't mind being there when I died, because then I would know what it is to be alive.
I will start. Okay. First of all,
That was beautiful.
All right, Kimberly, you did a nice job greeting the audience and kind of building suspense with what the topic was. When you finally gave us the quote, it was fine. Your point of view needs to be a little bit sharper. There's not really any preview of what the content is going to be. There's not really any preview of what the content is going to be, so it feels a little bit like you're wandering through the topic. You do, however, wander with purpose. As you are going along, you're thinking of ideas to structure, so although the structure was not set up at the beginning, it's not without some components to it, so you did have some distinct ideas, and you move between those ideas pretty well. On the presentation issues, I think your voice needs to project a little bit more, but within the range in which you're speaking, there's a lot of variety and inflection. I thought your gestures were good indicators. Very good audience contact most of the time. Your body movement sometimes seems a little excessive, but I think you did a pretty good job. Not overdoing it, but like trying to turn that movement into something that was purposeful, connected to what you were talking about. It's not always as effective because, like I said, it seems to be happening a little bit more than you want, but it was subtle. So just something to watch for. That's the only place so that I thought there was any anxiety coming out. And I thought you had a good exit line at the end of the speech. All right, thank you. Samantha, come get a topic, and we'll send, and then you can send Josie in. Any of them, yeah.